Director sir, good morning. I seek your permission to start the program.
Yes, good morning, madam. Very good morning to all participants who have joined our this online 1 week faculty development program. Yes, madam, uh, you are permitted.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir. A very good morning to one and all present here on the online platform. I, Shweta, from the Department of English and IQAC Coordinator, welcome our Chief Patron, Shri Tarsim Singh Sir, Patron Shri S.P. Singh Sir, Priyadarshi Jaruhar, respected Deans, Administrative Officer, HODs, faculty members of GGS ESTC, and eminent participants from all over India. I welcome you all for 1 week national level faculty development program on NAAC Revised Assessment and Accreditation Framework 2022, organized by GGS ESTC in association with Jharkhand University of Technology, Ranchi, under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. To kindly place Saraswati Vandana.
वीणावादिनी ज्ञान की देवी अपनी दया बरसा देना मेरे सर पे हाथ धरो माँ ज्ञान की ज्योति जगा देना ज्ञान की ज्योति जगा देना वीणावादिनी ज्ञान की देवी अपनी दया बरसा देना मेरे सिर पे हाथ धरो माँ ज्ञान की ज्योति जगा देना ज्ञान की ज्योति जगा देना
Purva ma'am. First of all, I would like to call respected Director Sir for his technical presentation on introduction of NAAC revised manual. Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone present over here. I wish that today our session will be very knowledgeable and useful for all the participants who are from higher education institutes from all over India. Just I am sharing my PowerPoint presentation slides. As we know that NAAC is one of the most important factor nowadays for any higher education because it speaks for quality and it you can say give the assurance to the all stakeholders, whether they are students or whether they are industry people or who are employing our students, that the college is NAAC accredited and it has a quality education process. So in this presentation, I will not take much of the time. Introduction revised NAAC Institutional Accreditation Self-Study Report SSR. First of all, I give my acknowledgement to Professor Sumit Kumar, Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering in our college, GGESTC, for helping me to preparing this slide. Whether this slide is visible? Madam, slide is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In a new education policy that we are also nowadays calling it a NAP or National Policy on Education, clearly says that by 2030, the higher education institutions has to implement fully the NAC process, as because they are going to make institutions autonomous and multidisciplinary. So in that, NAC is a very important criteria, and particularly the grade, what they are aiming is A. If you get A grade, then the autonomy process will be obviously very smooth, and college will get autonomous status. One of the criteria is that. Then NAC mainly focuses on assessment of the quality of higher education institutions in the country. The methodologies followed by quality assurance agencies across the world and consist of self-assessment by the institution along with external peer assigned assessment organized by. This revised process is which is has been formed, and the come to 55 points. It has been reduced, but many things are included, and in introductory part, which I will explain in this, is number one. The criteria is now becoming as per as of the criteria of the quality agencies, quality assurance agency all over the world. It is now, if you get a NAC grade, definitely it is comparable with any of the assessing agencies, quality assessing agencies of the world. Then self-evaluation, accountability, autonomy, innovations in higher educations are encouraged, and many important things which you can include here is, suppose in alumni, it was asked that what was the contribution of the. In that time, we used to think earlier in previous processes that contribution in terms of only money, but this new revised one is insisting not only money, but in other way also alumni can contribute to the college in the terms of their good feedbacks, and their terms of any material. Suppose for example, they can donate books, they can donate some equipments which are in good condition, or they can assist in terms of placement also. So in these area, if alumni is assisting, that it can also be considered. Another thing is regarding research papers. Now it is clear and pertinent that research papers are only will be allowed or will be counted which has been published during the faculty during the college and in the name of institution as association or affiliation. Secondly, it must be published in UGC care journal. Another important factor is that the process has become more and more, one can say, ICT based and robust, and even more transparent and scalable. Means your website must be speaking almost each and everything. If a DVV team or external agency or any stakeholders, if they want to see your college, they should see through your website. And link must be provided to everything, and that way one can become transparent. Suppose one stakeholder wants to see the placement records, so immediately they will go to the placement and then which company has visited, so their letters, their offers, other things. And at the same time, suppose somebody wants to see the research papers, research progress, so they will see the directly. They can have an access to all the journals, patents, books. They must be, they must have a link. And regarding different payments also, the same process can be there. And for feedbacks, for grievances, for IQC meeting, for suppose various audit reports, they should also be placed in the website. So this is one more requirement is there. So in this way, there are various changes. So I think it will be better that now criteria wise, our team will present individually. I think today there is a presentation for curricular aspects and teaching, learning and evaluation. So
Yes, sir.
at last, just 1 minute, I will just indicate a simple, and there is a table. So how these you can say key indicators and this quality matrix, how they have reduced from 96 PG to 55. So okay, thank you very much. Hope you will get benefits from today's session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the explicit presentation of revised manual of NAAC. Now, I would like to call Professor Sumit Kumar Pandey, Dean in Charge, Academics, and Dayasankar Divakar, sir, from the Department of Mechanical Engineering to present revised NAAC Criteria 1, which is curricular aspects.
Ma'am, screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning to all. Respected Director, sir, for giving me this opportunity to present brief idea about the NAAC Criteria 1, that is curricular aspects, along with my colleague, Dayasankar Divakar, sir.
Sir, kindly keep the presentation in full screen mode. Yes, sir. Fine.
First of all, what is NAAC? As we know, NAAC stands for National Accreditation and Assessment Council. India has one of the largest and diverse education system in the world. It is well known. Privatization, widespread expansion, increased autonomy, and introduction of programs in new and emerging areas have improved access to higher education. And at the same time, it has also led to widespread concern on the quality and relevance of higher education. To address these concerns, the NAAC was established in 1994 as an autonomous institution of the UGC. And we know that NAAC has 7 criteria. That is, first is curricular aspects, which has 100 marks. Then teaching, learning and evaluation, which has 350 marks. Research, innovation and extension, it has 110 marks. Infrastructure and learning resources has 100 marks. Student supports and progression 140 marks. Criteria 6 is governance, leadership and management has 100 marks. Then last criteria, institutional values and best practices had 100 marks. This is the revised distribution of matrices and key indicators across all criteria. As we know, there are 7 criteria which had 32 key indicators. And in these 32 key indicators, there are total 55 matrices. And previously it was 96 matrices. First, what is curricular aspects? Criteria 1. In curricular aspects, these are the mainstay of any educational system. However, the responsibilities of various higher educational institutions in this regards vary depending on their administrative standings. That is, an affiliated college is essentially a teaching unit which depends on a larger body, namely university, for their legitimizing its academy and administrative processes. In criteria 1, it pertains to the practices of an institution in initiating a wide range of programs, options and courses that are in tune with emerging national and global trends and relevance to the local needs. Apart from these issues, there are diversities and academic flexibilities, aspects on career orientation, multi-skills development, feedback system, and involvement of stakeholders in curriculum updating are also gauged. In criteria 1, there are 4 sub-matrices, that is 1.1 stands for curricular planning and implementation. It has 20 weightage. Key indicators, that is key matrices 1.2 academic flexibility, it has 30 marks. 1.3 curriculum enrichment, it has 30 marks. Then last 1.4 feedback system, which has 20 marks. Previously, this was the key matrices and their qualitative and quantitative matrices was distributed. Previously in 1.1, that is curricular planning and implementation, there was one quantitative matrices in which we have to show documentation, and in qualitative matrices along with the documentation we have to write up of approx 500 words. Then in 1.1 we have, it was 2 qualitative matrices that contains 15 marks. In academic flexibility, that is 1.2, there was 3 quantitative matrices that contains 30 marks, and there was no qualitative matrix. In 1.3 curriculum enrichment, previously there was 2 quantitative matrix and 1 qualitative matrix. And in feedback system, there was 2 quantitative matrix and there was no any qualitative matrices. Then total quantitative matrices was 75, and in qualitative matrices there was 25. But in revised framework, the matrices 1.1, that is curricular planning and implementation, there was no any quantitative matrices, but there is 1 qualitative matrices that contains 20 marks. Previously it was only 15 marks, but here it has 20 marks. Academic flexibility, there are 2 quantitative marks that contains 30 marks and no any qualitative matrices. In 1.3 curriculum enrichment, there is 1 quantitative matrix that contains 20 marks and 1 qualitative matrix. And in feedback system, in this framework, there is 1 quantitative matrix only. Hence, in this criteria, there are 4 quantitative matrix that contains 70 marks and 2 qualitative matrix that contains 30 marks. Previously, it was 75 and 25, but here in revised framework, it has 70 and 30. Then 1.1, what is curricular planning and implementation? The affiliating or constituent college have rather insignificant role in curriculum designing and development. They adopt the curriculum overview provided by their respective universities. Each college operationalizes the curriculum within the overall framework that is provided in one way, depending on its resource potential, institutional goal, and concern, and so on. That is, each college visualizes the way the curriculum has to be carried out, activities, who, how, and when. This process makes each institution unique and reflects on the concern of the college for the quality in the form of value emphasized, sensitivities, focused, etc. Previously, in curricular planning and implementation, there was 3 key matrices: 1.1.1, 1.1.2, and 1.1.3. But in revised framework, there is only 1 key matrices, that is 1.1.1, which tells the institutions ensures effective curriculum planning and delivery through a well-planned and documented process, including academic calendar and conduct of continuous internal assessment. This is qualitative metrics, hence we have to write a description in maximum of 500 words along with the document. In 1.1.1, the question is how institutions ensures effective curriculum delivery through a well-planned and documented process. This is the 500 words in which we have to tell, and for each, if you are telling any lines which contains any types of documentation, then we have to show it along with all related details. For example, if we are first this, what is planning? In planning, we have to show academic calendar, timetable, teaching plan, and documentation was meetings and its appointments. Syllabus of the universities that will be collected for last 5 years. Hence, this was the syllabus for each semester. Then in course delivery methods, we have to show the routine of all semester, master routine of all semester, workload of the faculty, department meeting register, course file of each subject, faculty-wide subject list taught for last 5 years, mid-semester routine, class test reports, number of electives paper per semester, and project allotment and group reports. These documents will be well planned and documented along with their details. Then the key indicator 1.2, that is matrices 1.2, is academic flexibility, that contains 30 marks. Academic flexibility refers to the freedom in the use of the time frame of the courses, horizontal mobility, interdisciplinary options, and other facilitated by curricular transactions. Supplementary enrichment program introduced as an initiatives of the college, credit system and choice offered in the curriculum. In terms of program, curricular transactions and time framework options are also considered in this key indicator. Previously, there was 3 key matrices in this indicator, that is 1.2.1, in which we have to tell the percentage of program in which CBCS, that is choice-based credit system or elective courses system, has been implemented. But in this revised framework, it has been removed, and the new and revised, according to revised framework, there are only 2 key matrices, that is 1.2.1 and 1.2.2. In this 1.2.1, that is quantitative matrix, And we have to tell about the number of add-on, certificate or value-added program during last 5 years. And these programs must have at least 30 hours of contact. And 1.2.2 percentage of students enrolled in the above said programs for last 5 years. Here we have to calculate percentage, year-wise percentage. The data required for last 5 years related to these key matrices will be any training program like AutoCAD certificate program, SPSS training program, PLC training, Python, ANSYS, or any types of training program. But the contact hour must be more than 30 hours. Next is key matrix 1.3, that is curriculum enrichment. According to the NAAC, curriculum enrichment is holistic development of the student is the main purpose of the curriculum. While this is attempted through prescribing dynamics and updated curricular inputs, the HEI is expected to have provision for added courses and activities which may not be directly linked with one's discipline of study, but contributes to sensitizing students to cross-cutting issues relevant to the current pressing concerns, both nationally and internationally, such as gender, environment, and sustainability, along with human values and professional ethics. Development of creating and divergent competencies. A progressive university would provide a wide range of such value-added courses for students to choose from according to their interest and inclinations. Previously, there was two key matrices. One was qualitative and second one was quantitative matrix, in which first one was institutions integrate cross-cutting issues relevant to professional ethics, genders, human values, environment, and sustainability into the curriculum. As this was the qualitative matrix, hence we have to write a short description in maximum of 500 words along with the supporting documents. And second one was average percentage of course that includes experiential learning through project work, field work, and internship during last 5 years. And third one was percentage of students undertaking project work, field work, and internship. And this data was for latest academic year. In this new and revised framework, the matrices 1.3.2 has been removed, and there is total two key matrices, that is 1.3.1 and 1.3.2, where the first one was institution integrates cross-cutting issues relevant to professional ethics, gender, human values, environment, and sustainability into the curriculum. And second one was only the percentage of students undertaking project work, field work, and internship, and the data required for only latest completed academic year. In first one, where we have to write 500 words, in which if we are telling anything about the gender equality, then we have to show its documents along with the geotag photograph. Environment and sustainability, if the any curricular or courses which have subjects related to environment, here we can show it. Human values and professional ethics, the students of BTech studies human values and professional ethics in their curricular, hence we have to show here with these details. And the data required for latest completed year, that is 1.3.2, the project work of final year students and the data of internship details of all students. And the last one was key indicator 1.4, that is feedback system. In this, the process of revision and redesign of curricular is based on the recent developments and feedback from the stakeholders. the feedback from all stakeholders in terms of its relevance and appropriateness in catering to the needs of society. Here the all stakeholders is students, teachers, employers, and faculty members. The HEI with feedback system in place will have an active process of not only collecting feedback from the all stakeholders, but also analyzing it and identifying it and drawing pertinent pointers to enhance the learning effectiveness. Previously, there was two key matrices in these indicators, that is 1.4.1 and 1.4.2, where we have in 1.4.1, we have to collect the feedback from the students, teachers, employers, and alumni. But in latest revised framework, there is only one key matrices, that is only 1.4.1. And here we have to take the feedback from the all stakeholders, and not only feedback system or taking feedback, we have to generate its action taken reports with the help of meetings and what are the outcomes of these meetings. This was the sample how we can take feedback from students, teachers, or alumni. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumit sir, for an elaborative presentation on revised NAAC manual Criteria 1 curricular aspects. Moving to the second technical presentation of day 2, I would like to call Professor Pankaj Kumar Ray from the Department of Electrical Engineering to present revised NAAC manual Criteria 2, teaching, learning and evaluation.
Going to start my presentation. That is NAAC Criteria 2.3, teaching, learning and evaluation. Next, yeah. This is criteria under criteria 2. This is of 350 marks. In this we have 7 subcategories, and 2.1, that is QNM matrix. I want to clear the QNM and QLM type. These are 2 types of matrices in NAAC criteria. In QNM, this is quantitative matrix, that is, it should have to produce data. This is calculation based, just like mathematical process. In this process, we have to calculate each and every criteria. In 2.2, this is also QNM matrix, that is a student teacher ratio. This is calculation based, and now this ratio is 20:1. In next slide we have go through the details of each and every slide. 2.3 QLM, that is teaching, learning and process, and we have marked here 40 points, and under bracket in red color 10 and a sign of decrement. That is, we have to study, or I have to present a comparative presentation. That is what is the change in criteria scheme. Earlier it was of only 30 points. It was 50 points, but now according to new criteria, new curriculum of NAAC, this is only become 40 marks. In criteria 2.4, that is QNM, once again quantitative matrix, teacher profile and quality. This is in new scheme, it is 40 marks only, and under bracket I have signed a reduction of 20 marks. That is, it was earlier of 60 marks, but in new scheme it is only 40 marks. In criteria 2.5, and I mark here QLM, that is qualitative matrix, and it is 40 and a sign of increment of 10. That is, earlier it was only 30 points, now it becomes 40 points. And criteria 2.6, once again, this is of, in this criteria we covering 2 matrices, that is QLM and QNM. QLM is 45 and QNM is 45 marks. Here we have to concern more that earlier it was only 60 points, but in now it becomes 90 points. That is increment of 30 points. So the major contribution of 350, that is 2.6 and 2.7. If we add these two, that is 2.6 and 2.7, the total marks become 150 marks. That is from 350, 150 marks is covered by these two criteria only, that is 2.6 and 2.7. So what is these are? These are basically the student performance and learning outcomes, and 2.7 is a student satisfaction survey, means feedback mechanism. A student performance means result analysis, performance of a student in gate, performance of a student in outside feedback, outside placement. Next, I go one by one in detail. A student enrollment and profile, this covers 40 marks. Our institute admission policy is we take an admission through either Jharkhand Combined Entrance Exam or through IEEE examination. If unfortunately a student doesn't appear in the two examination, then what may be the admission policy in our institute? So our institute design a set exam. This is a internal assessment exam of the student. If a student although fail to face or doesn't got a satisfactory marks in this examination, then we don't take admission of that student. So this is set scheme. Next. Next. This is the data for the last 5 years. That is total number of students enrolled and total sanction seat under category wise, UG for BTech and PG for MBA, because our institute have two course, BTech and MBA. So this is the data. Next slide, sir. आवाज दिक्कत है क्या? उधर चले जाते हैं. 2.2.1, that is QNM type, a student full-time teacher ratio. So the standard benchmark of is 20:1. Our institute has good performance in this criteria, and I think we got maximum marks under this criteria because we have a ratio. Our institute maintain a ratio of 12:1, but our standard is 20:1. So we are best in this criteria, and we got maximum marks from the peer team. Next is 2.3, that is teaching learning process. Under this we have two subcategories. 2.3.1, that is QLM type. QLM means we have to write a whole mechanism in maximum of 500 words. That is a student centric method. Under this we trained the student how the student are able to solve a real time problem. For this, our institute have many MOUs with just like Giada, just like Dalmia, just like Electro Steel in nearby Bokaro Steel City. For example, in electrical, the branch of electrical engineering student and branch of civil engineering student, they got a chance of, they got opportunity for internship in Biada. The student of civil engineering got a mini project like the survey of drainage system in Giada, and electrical engineering student got a project of survey of a street light and the estimation of cables, estimation of LED light and power requirement for the lightning of the street light. So this is the real time of problem. A student got opportunity under in 6th semester and 7th semester also. So I think our institute have a good mechanism to resolve or to train the student. These come under student centric methods. I share some pictures of Giada visit. You can see that the head of the Giada is Madam Kriti Sri ji, and our institute director, Dr. Priyadarshi Jarwar sir ji, and in one side we can say the HODs of different departments, and another side the student from the civil, electrical, and computer science also. We have a meeting with Ziada. These are some another way how to train the student not only in education system but also in other field also. For that purpose, our institute made a movie, that is Spandan, that is made by totally of the student. Rather, also the camera used by this movie is also by the purchased by the students only. I can say that every event captured in this movie has been taken by our students. So this is also a new type of scientific methods. This is a slide of where our first year student is going to visit in Dalmia Cement in Bokaro. Above that, we share a notice also, because in NAAC everything required in documentation for improved form. So we also share a notice. In notice, you can see here a student of Giada visit phase 4 Dalmia Cement, Garga Dam, Zoological Park, Sector 4, Ayappa Temple in Bokaro. These are our places where the first year student has to be visit one by one. Next slide, sir. Teachers use ICT enabled tools for effective teaching learning process. To cover effective teaching learning process, teachers must have to use ICT enabled or must have ICT enabled tools. For that, the basic requirement to constitute a ICT enabled tool is a smart board, a projector, a camera, and our institute have facilitated with a good. Next slide. The role of ICT tool, everyone is well known about the COVID pandemic. In COVID pandemic, that board chalk and duster scheme is totally absolute, and we are only dependent on online teaching mode. That comes under ICT tools. So this is a slide where we can see that in totally 2 years we can able to teach our student through online mode only. That is, this also comes under teaching ICT tools. So we can think the importance of ICT tools. Voice clear, ma'am? Voice is clear?
Yes, sir.
Next slide, please. We also share a image of ICT smart classroom, that is with geotag. You can see here a teacher taking classes, a student sitting here in front of that a projector, and a teacher explaining the material. If the complex situation comes like you have to explain the internal structure of a machine, internal structure of a diesel engine, then you have certainly take the help of projector scheme. Without that, teacher facing very problem to deal internal structure. But if we have a smart classroom or the facility of projector, then we can easily give the concept of 3D via 3D animation, and it is easy to understand for the student also. This slide is continue under 2.3.1, and we have to write in maximum 500 words. That is, this covers in QLM type. That is, QLM means not only I have to or institute have to write in 500 words only. You have to keep the proof of every statement that you have mentioned under 500 words. So be sure that it is, although it is not QNM matrix, that is called quantitative type, it is QLM, that is qualitative type. That means I have or you should have to write. It doesn't mean that we does not require the documentation. You have to present the documentation of every words that has to be written in these 500 words. So while writing 500 words, one should concern that each and every lines should have a backup files, should have a documentation for the proof while peer team visit our institute. That is QNM. This is also QNM type, and I have earlier told that this is earlier it was of 60 points, but now in new mechanism it is of only 40 points, so the decrement of 20 points. I think we are unfortunate here because we have a good ratio of teacher and student. So इसमें जितना ज्यादा मार्क्स रहता उतना हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट के लिए बेनिफिट होता. 2.4.1 once again QNM type matrix. Average percentage of full-time teachers against sanction post during the last 5 years, and under this category we got 15 points if we are able to institute are able to prove. Next slide. Here the some samples of calculation how we calculate the percentage of teachers. So it is very simple. Data requirement in this category, that is 5 year, number of full-time teachers, number of sanction post. How we calculate? Formula is given. Percentage per year means number of full-time teachers divided by total number of sanction post into 100. It is very simple to calculate. And average, what is the average percentage? Percentage per year divided by 5. We calculate using above formula for separately 5 years, and after that we have to find a average of these 5 year percentage. So simply summation of all percentage divided by 5. Next. Here we take a sample data year wise 17-18, total number of full-time teachers 74. We just put a sample here, not only the actual data of the institute. 18, 19, 19, 20, 21. In 17, 18, we can see here total number of sanction post 132 and 74 here. If in 21, 22, if full-time teacher is 69 and we have, let us suppose 60 faculties, then percentage becomes 69 by 60, 115. Similarly, 60, 76 by 60, 126. And percentage year wise, now we go to find the average percentage. So add these 5% divide by 5. So if the institute have the data like this, then we got a percentage of 98.03. So it is a mathematical procedure, we can easily calculate it. Average percentage of full-time teachers with PhD. Also quantitative type matrix QNM, 25 points under this. Suppose the institute have number of PhD teachers in 17, 18, 11, 18, 19, 8, 19, 20, 11, 20, 21, 9 and 21, 22, 9. Let us suppose. Then what is the calculation? So once again we calculate via the same process. So number of full-time teachers with PhD, let us suppose in 21, 22 I should have 9 teachers. Total number of full-time teachers, let us suppose has 69. Then what is the percentage? That is PhD via the total. So it comes under 13. Similarly 2022, 2021 11.8, 1920 it comes approx 12%, and average percentage we got 12.6%. I visit the documents many institutes and we compare that in average every institute have maximum of 15 to 20%. So if an institute have these number that is above than 10%, then it is they can have a good marks in this matrix also. Next is evaluation process. Just back. Evaluation process 40 points, increment of 10 here. Earlier it is Earlier it was 30 points. So increment of 10 year. Next. So institute have to concern more about this point also, because here there is an increment of 10 points. That is NAAC tier team wants more concerned about these matrices. So institute have to fair internal assessment scheme. That is, our institute have or comes under JUT. So in JUT we have the mechanism of 2 mid semester and 2 class tests, and we mark according to the average of or best of these two. It depends on university by university, but in JUT it is best of 2. So suppose a student appear in mid semester 1 and it is of 20 marks only, and suppose they score 10, then institute have to arrange a special class, and it is the responsibility of the faculty or the mentor how to improve the marks of that student, that particular student, in the second mid semester examination. So institute have a mechanism to tackle such type of situation. My institute have a separate class, arrange a bridge class for that type of students, and so that they can improve in mid semester 2, and we have to send the maximum marks in best of these 2 mid semester examinations. This should be the time bound and efficient. If there is any dispute in among the students, among the faculties, then it should have to a grievance cell, the grievance mechanism, and it should be and efficient. That is, it should be time bounded and transparent mechanism. If a student have a dispute that among them, then we constitute a committee is already constitute. We have to resolve the particular case in a particular time and display that result in notice board also. This is a notice of mid semester program. So we have to keep every notice that before taking a mid semester examination. So here we sample some notices mid semester examination. These are the sample. Next is, that is criteria 2.6, student performance and learning outcomes. In this scheme, we have to focus more and more, because here we can see an increment of 30 marks. So we can have a good marks from these 90 points. So here our institute got maximum marks from these matrices, that is CO and POs. So our institute have to ensure about the CO's course outcome and program outcomes, not only in documentation format, but every student, every faculty should be familiar with these two terms, that is CO and POs. Our course outcome is already designed in university format. Under JUT it is mentioned in syllabus format also, but it is not limited up to the syllabus point of view only. It should be displayed in every galleries of the classroom, every floor of the institute, in front of the institute, in the website of the institute. Teachers should discuss in the classroom also, that is before start a lecture, teachers should talk about the COs and POs, so that our student will also familiar with COs and POs, because whenever peer team will come, whenever peer team will come to visit our institute, then they not only ask the question from the head of the coordinator, head of the institute, is teacher only, they are very interested to they are very interested to got answer from the student side. So if a institute is not trained a student about the COs and POs, then definitely they got a less marks. So institute have to ensure about these points, that they have to train a student also just like a faculty. So they have to, they should have to give a chance to take part in the seminars of a NAAC. If a institute organize the seminar concerning NAAC, then they must involve the student also, so that our student get enhance the knowledge about the COs and POs and the what is NAAC, about the NAAC also. What is the benefits of NAAC? If a institute is accredited with NAAC, then what is the benefit of the student? That is, we got a brand also. So student should take the interest in NAAC also. Next slide. This is also comes in under 2.6, that is 2.612, the pass percentage of a student during last 5 years. So obviously it is quantitative type QNM matrix, because it is a real data. We cannot temper it, because it is a totally depends on the final result, and it is based on the university. So we cannot change, any institute cannot change this data, but they can struggle to improve these points. That is, pass percentage should be maximum. If I should have more than 90% pass percentage, then definitely they got maximum marks. We cannot temper it, but we can train our student, our faculty, so that we can improve this, because it is of 40 marks. So I should is more concerned about these points. Next point. Here with simple as slide, here are simple data. If I should have the data in this program, if I should have MBA program, BTech program, in one column we share number of a student appeared in the final year examination. You can see here it is 234, and if the number of passed in final year examination is 156, then we got a percentage 66. In second, and likewise we can calculate this data. It is very simple to calculate, just it is percentage. So institute have to concern more and more, since it is of 45 marks. So we simply share a slide year wise, and in right side column the calculated percentage. Next. Attainment of program. This is also QNM type. Attainment of program outcomes and course outcome are evaluated by institution. This is also 45 marks. So internal assessment is the requirement of the continuous assessment and is essential for the fulfillment of COs and POs also. Internal assessment includes unit test, field survey, study tour, practical workshop, seminar, etc. Other activities like NSS activities, career counseling, professional development, life skill, and etc. It can also be obtained through the feedback from the alumni, parents, and program exit survey, because we got a real feedback from our alumni or from our stakeholders. So student or institute have to a good feedback mechanism and a good communication with the alumni also. ऐसा नहीं कि जस्ट स्टूडेंट हमारा पास हो गया उससे मेरा कोई रिश्ता नहीं, ऐसा करने से नैक में हमें बहुत पुअर मार्क्स मिलेगा. So we have to develop a good bond among the alumni also. That is the last criteria, that is online student satisfaction survey regarding the teaching learning process. So student should develop a online mechanism of feedback or student satisfaction, so that the data should be fair. And if a institute have online mechanism of feedback online mechanism of feedback, suggestions, and then certainly they have good marks. Slide stop हो गए थे. आ रहा है. नहीं कर रहा है. Next. Online student satisfaction survey. These covers name of the student, it covers name, class, gender, student ID, that is roll number, mobile number, and email ID, also in proper format. Thank you. So this is the question hour from the audience. If they have certain questions regarding criteria 2.3, then they are welcome. Okay, thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you so much, Pankaj sir, for having a detailed presentation and with sample and examples on criteria 2, teaching, learning and evaluation. And here we have come to the end of day 2, and I request Professor Anupriya from Department of English to kindly propose vote of thanks. Over to you, Anupriya ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for providing me to give vote of thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my gratitude for expressing vote of thanks on second day on online 1 week national level faculty development on NAAC revised assessment and accreditation framework 2022 from 6 June to 10 June. Today, I will take my gratitude into words. I'm very thankful to our chief partners, Sri Sarsev Singh sir, Honorable President of GGES, Sri Chief Partner and Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Vijay Pandey, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, JUT Ranchi, Pardon Sri SP Singh Sir, Honorable Secretary, Pardon Sri Dr. AK Chaudhary, Honorable Registrar, JUT Ranchi. And we are very fortunate to be assisted by our beloved Director Sir, Dr. Priyadarshi Jarwar, Principal Convener, who have been on constant support and encouragement. Thank you so much, sir. And I am heartily thanks to the speaker of Criteria 1, Professor Sumit Kumar Pandey, Professor Dayal Sankar Divakar sir, and Criteria 2, Pankaj Ray sir, for presenting a clear view on NAAC Criteria 1 and 2 and giving us available information regarding NAAC Criteria 1 and 2. I heartily thank our team, Professor Shweta Kumari, IQSC Coordinator, for anchoring also, and Mrs. Pallavi ma'am, AO ma'am, for support and guidance, Professor Apurva ma'am, Professor Mahmood Alam, Professor Tej Bahadur sir, Professor Nishant sir, Anil sir for system and administration, and for giving their effort to make this FDP successful. Now I close today's session, and tomorrow we will meet online at 11 a.m. On day 3. The keynote speaker resource person is Professor Mrs. Pallavi Prashad ma'am and Professor Prabhakar sir for Criteria 3, and Criteria 4 for Dr. Rajendra Prasad Verma, our Dean Academics. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
We can leave, sir. Sir, Director, sir.
Yes, madam. I hope all our participants have got through the latest information and changes of NAAC. And I'm really thankful to all participants and presenters who have presented very nicely and patiently all the participants have attended this program. So the question answer session we will keep in last day. So I request all the participants, if they have certain queries, they can write down now. And in last day, that is the 5th day, on 10th, we will have a 10 minutes interactive session, 15 minutes. In that they can raise their apprehensions or any query. And on that day, assistant advisor from NAAC will also present from Bangalore here, Dr. Nilesh Pandey. So it will be very interactive session and very informative. Directly one can get input from NAAC regarding any their queries. So they may write down their queries. It is a very great opportunity that on 10th we will can have them solve those. Okay, thank you very much. Anupriya madam, you can close the session.
We can leave this link for today's session. We have closed the session.